Why does AI search love Reddit so much? I want you to recall the last time you put something to Google. I'm not talking about a quick check, like what's the weather today, but rather the last time you're really trying to buy something. Like a new Dyson that's worth over £500, new B2B software, any kind of service. If you're anything like me and loads of other people that I know, you probably put Reddit of your search term because there's kind of an unspoken rule that most links going through Google right now are kind of ads, right? They're not as trustworthy as real people in Reddit actually making these recommendations. And the crazy thing is AI has made its mind up on this as well. You put a question into ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, and what you'll find is Reddit is the #1 source for AI search, not YouTube or Wikipedia, Reddit. So in this, what I wanted to do is to break down exactly what that is, what AI is actually looking for when it goes there, and what you should do is if you want to use Reddit to show up in these results for yourself. So let's look at the data first and actually look at, okay, how much is Reddit being cited? So Profound actually did a really good study on this, and you can just see how much they dominate over YouTube, Wikipedia, all this other stuff. And it's not just one model, it's generally on all the models, Perplexity, ChatGPT, Grok, Google AI overviews. Reddit is generally #1. Why Reddit? So there are a few reasons, and I think you actually understanding this is going to help you deploy tactics that help you actually use this platform really well. So reason one, what versus so what? In the simplest way I can put it, Wikipedia is going to give you cold hard facts, right? If you type in the iPhone 16, it's going to talk about the processor, the screen size, the release date, etc. But if you type the same thing into Reddit, it's going to tell you, okay, how good is the camera? Is the battery good? Should you be upgrading from the 14? And I think AI has caught on to the fact that you kind of need both, right? The what by itself is just kind of lifeless, and it really doesn't tell you much. The so what, a stranger's rant, is oftentimes a lot more useful to consumers. So reason two, the Google deal. Back a few years ago, Google actually did a 60 million deal with Reddit to train their AI models. And on the other side of this, Google is actually ranking Reddit really well within their native searches. Reason three, platform versus publisher. So I want to talk a little bit about the difference between a publisher and a platform. So you can take your newspaper, brand blogs, and even Substacks. Those are publishers. So they put out as one voice, one perspective, one piece, and sort of run it through a editorial filter. And then you have something more like Reddit, where it's a platform. You put out a question and you get back 1,000 different voices, right? You get disagreements, you get agreements, you get a sort of texture. And that is the sort of texture that AI requires to be balanced, right? This whole question answer, this is how ChatGPT and all these models work. So a platform like Reddit gives the AI 40 different comments on one question, and it can kind of form a general consensus of how to answer based on all these different comments. So the next part I want to go over is kind of the misconception, which I think is really important to address, is how much do upvotes matter within AI search? So the interesting thing is AI cites positive and negative brand mentions almost equally. Positive is around 5%, negative is around 6.1. So a really interesting insight from that Profound study that kind of follows up on this is AI doesn't really index for comma/upvotes. It looks at something called semantic cues of helpfulness. And to put this simply, does this sound like one real human being of assistance to another? And like, of course, there are some things after, like, is it a clean question? Is it response with no fluff? Second is natural language. Does it feel like marketing? Is it discard? The next thing I want to go over is post on die. And I think this is a very crucial difference between Reddit and some other platforms. So there is some element of it working like every other platform where you make a post, it gets some reach initially, it tests it, if more people engage with it, it pushes it out, and there's sort of a window of, yep, you post it, it gets a viral post, and it goes down. There is some element where it's the same as every other social media like X, LinkedIn, etc., where you post something, you get some initial reach within the subreddit, it tests, did people engage in it, does it push it out, has some recommendations, etc. But within AI search, posts don't really die. If you post something in Reddit and it's been seen as helpful, it could show up for many years later. So it doesn't have the same recency bias as other platforms have. Because if you actually look at the average post that an AI will cite, sometimes it's mostly even like a year old or even older. And this is usually the antithesis of usual social media logic. So what should you do? I'd say if you're interested in this, the first thing you can do is just go to ChatGPT, go to Gemini, and just say like, hey, what's the best thing for X? Is this competitor worth it? And just kind of think backwards. What search should lead directly to your business? If it's a B2B SaaS company for AI agents, type in, okay, best B2B SaaS company for AI agents, and you're probably going to see loads of your different competitors. And then read them, read the Reddit, see which posts are being picked up, see which posts aren't being picked up. There's tons of different ways to implement it. I don't want to go over too much in this video, but my biggest advice is just be super helpful, right? Create good content, engage with the communities. Don't just go there to promote your product. I feel like Reddit's really anti-marketing, but if you're giving a lot of value and you're really engaging, you're connecting with the community, I think if you want to sell something after, I think people are generally fine with that. And if you're interested in a report, I've got something to show you just below.